Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Dykes. I am a labor and delivery nurse who also loves to read. This is not a monthly recap video. So this is a special edition reading recap, vlog, whatever. And the theme today is fanfic that became novels or got traditionally published or started out as fanfic. So I have been reading fanfic over the last few years. I really just dabble in it. I find that there's too many traditionally published books to also like read too much fanfic. Pretty much the only fanfic that I read or have read is Hermione fanfic, which is like Harry Potter universe. And it's Draco and Hermione like getting together. So it's really nice. And I also read books that or fanfic that like somebody else has already vetted. So I'm not like digging through these sites and trying to find something that interests me. I'm like reading something that other friends or other influencers in the book world have read, and then I read them. Because there's so many things to read, and so I don't want to read unvetted stuff. Because that is what you're like risking with fanfic. Like these are people that just put their stuff up, and some of it is absolutely amazing. So my favorite topic is Hermione. I have read some like Draco Harry, which was honestly like I downloaded the wrong thing, but it was entertaining. And then I've also read just a little bit of like Shadow and Bone, which I feel like the ones I read were not as like well written as the Hermione I've read, so that just kind of turned me off a little bit. I know that there's a lot of really good heated rivalry fanfic out there, but it's hard for me to go down that road when A, there's so much else to read, and B, heated rivalry is perfection. So don't necessarily want to mess with that. So I started to like make a list and like come upon all these. So a lot of books or like fanfic that I've read have been traditionally published in the last like year or two. And now some books that started as fanfic are becoming like film adaptations or have been in the past. So I have not read all of these, but I just thought it'd be really interesting to take a look at this. So probably the most famous recent fanfic is Alchemized. So I have not read Alchemized, even though I own it. And let me tell you why. This by Senlin Yu. The fanfic is called Manacled. It is a Hermione fanfic. It is dark. Like, it is dark. Tons of trigger warnings. I read my fanfic on AO3, which is Archive of Our Own. Archive of Our Own. So AO3. And created by some of my favorite authors. So we'll get into that. But so Manacled was like so famous, so popular. Like, I mean, look at how big this is. Like, it's a huge novel, very well written. Just an insane Hermione. So the premise is that Voldemort won the war. And we got a little like Handmaid's Tale mixed with just like a lot of other evil things. So Draco is pretty high in Voldemort's like political system. Hermione has forgotten her memories and she's a political prisoner, and then she's like given to him as part of a breeding program. So super duper dark. Again, like I'm not saying this is like a light read. Super dark. And about halfway through, you're like, why am I reading this? This is awful. And then like, you understand why people love it. So the issue with this book being traditionally published, which like, I was very excited about this, bought it immediately. But I've heard from people that have read it that it's a whole new magic system and it's like new characters. So there has to be so much world building and explaining like a new magic system, because it can't just live off of Harry Potter. Like those like story rights are J.K. Rowling's. So in order to like have that story, you have to rebuild it. And so then I just don't know that I have a bound copy of Manacled. I have it on my Kindle. So like I think I would rather reread Manacled with Draco and Hermione being the characters than to read like a 1,000-page book. Yeah, literally a 1,000-page book with different characters. So I do still own it. I haven't completely written it off, but it's certainly not high on my list of things to read because of that. Like Manacled, 12 out of 10. Alchemist, I think the trouble is that you're stepping into this new world. So the best part of fanfic is that you already have the backstory, so you get to just like jump into the story. You don't need the buildup of story and land. And then the next one that I find very hysterical is 50 Shades of Grey was a fanfic. So E.L. James wrote 50 Shades of Grey based off of Twilight. So it's a Twilight fanfic. So she like read Twilight, loved it, and then like basically took this and made Edward like a billionaire and put him in this world. And I just think it's so interesting. And that's kind of like where like it makes sense that 50 Shades of Grey is maybe not like the best written book in the world, but did we have a good time reading it? Yes, we did. We did. The movies, awful. I'm sorry. Maybe you love them. I thought the movies were awful. And I think it's the characters. I don't know that it's I think it was the cast. Because I still liked the story. But I don't know. So anyway, 50 Shades of Grey. Christian Grey is Edward. So After by Anna Todd is a romance. I think they're like college age. I honestly do not remember the story. I have not read the book, but it's like after it's a whole series. And people love it. I have not read the books. I've seen, I think, a few of the movies because they're like on Netflix or whatever. They're fine. It doesn't seem like a super healthy relationship, so I did not get super into it. But After is based off of like Harry Styles fanfic. So I was never like, I was a little too old for One Direction, like still really appreciated some of their music, but didn't get into it the same way that some of the younger millennials did. Or, yeah, I don't think it would be Gen Z. I think it would be younger millennials. So I just wasn't super into Harry Styles, which is why I also never read the book The Idea of You. It was like a fanfic that was written about Harry Styles. And then I think it was traditionally published. And then it was adapted to a movie with, I can't ever remember how to say his name. Nicholas Galitzine and Anne Hathaway. And like, it was fine. I didn't love it. But I also had not read the book. I know people loved the book so much, so I'm not touching that. If that's your favorite, that's so great. But another Harry Styles fanfic. Then, and I did not know this. I did not know that Christina and Lauren got together writing fanfic. And so Beautiful Bastard, this series is based off of like the Twilight. So it's off of Twilight and The Office. So like if Twilight was set in an office setting, which, yeah, that makes sense now. So it was called The Office, I think. Yeah, it was called The Office on AO3 when it lived there. And then they were adapted into books and traditionally published, and now they're some of my favorite authors. So I had no idea. So also when books are traditionally published, they take the writing off of AO3 because I don't think they want competing. So like Manacled is no longer up. I don't think The Office is still up. So like if they've been traditionally published, then it's off. So if you've downloaded it to your Kindle, you still have it, but you can't go find it again. So that's why when they like announce that they're gonna get traditionally published, it's like, quick, download it, because you can still read it if you have it downloaded, but you can't go find it again. So just a little tip. So I don't have any books by Olivia Black, but she wrote extensively on AO3, and it sounds like she focused on a lot of Sherlock Holmes and Harry Potter. So she wrote Atlas 6, Alone with You in the Ether. Yeah, so I've read Atlas 6. I read Alone with You in the Ether. I think that's kind of where I stopped because I just don't think she's for me. So I would be interested. I feel like some Sherlock fanfic would be very interesting. Yeah, so I know like one of her big ones was in the Harry Potter universe, and that's what got her traditionally published. And then another one that I have on my TBR, but I don't know if I want to read it, is Rose in Chains. So that one was traditionally published, I think, last year, like same time as Alchemized and The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I thought The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy was a fanfic, but it sounds like it was not. It's not. So I'm probably going to bring that up to the top of my list because I've heard that they're really good, but I've not been a fan of the books the fanfic I like being traditionally published. So I kind of had knocked it down. But apparently that is not based on the same fanfic. It's a different world, totally different thing, and it's a really good romantasy. So that's a plug for a book that I wasn't really going to talk about. But Rose in Chains by Julia Soto is based on The Auction, which is a Hermione super popular fanfic. So The Auction is no longer on AO3, but I read it. It is another very dark situation where girls are auctioned off sexually because, again, Voldemort won, and so these evil men are in power, and so I think Draco has Hermione, and then she's trying to like find a way to like break down this like sex trafficking ring, and she like convinces Draco to help her, but then it's really dangerous for everyone. So that one was, again, super duper dark, lots of like sexual trauma, but really interesting storyline and like interesting magic, and it's kind of like secret agent kind of stuff. Another Julie Soto book. So Julie Soto has now traditionally published multiple books, and they are very good. So I will probably read Rose in Chains at some point. Maybe I don't know. But this was based off of a Kylo Ren fanfic, which I did not realize. So this was I think her first traditionally published book. So she writes under Love's Bitka 8 is her fanfic that she writes. And I do not know if this one was taken down off of AO3, but it's based on Kylo Ren, Kylo Ren and Rey. So like Star Wars episode 7, 8, and 9. This was such a good book. So I did not know that this was a Kylo Rey fanfic, but it makes sense to me. Like you got like tall, dark, and handsome, brooding. They're like kind of in competition, but they work together. This book was so good. I loved it a lot. 5 out of 5. So sounds like Julie Soto is a prolific fanfic writer. So hopefully she keeps writing. Another book is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Really strange, but it's based off of The Social Network. So she watched The Social Network with these questionable tech bros, and she came up with this gay romance between the prince and the president's son. Points for making the president female. So Casey McQuiston loves herself some gay and sapphic romance. So I have read, there's one that's like The Last Stop or The Last Train. That was like a kind of like a time travel, like alternate universe. That one was good. Red, White, and Royal Blue is good. I haven't read others of hers, but she started in fanfic, and I just thought it was really funny. The Red, White, and Royal Blue, which has also been a movie on, I think, Netflix, maybe Amazon Prime. And Nicholas Galitzine, it plays the Royal. I do not remember the other guy's name, but he's also in the kissing booth. Very good looking man. Very. So apparently Nicholas Galitzine loves a fanfic remake. Another favorite fanfic author is Rachel Reed, author of a little thing that we like to call Heated Rivalry and The Long Game. Well, first came Game Changers. So Game Changers is season 1, episode 3. But it is a book, so that's like the first in the series. So first you're supposed to read Game Changers, and then Heated Rivalry is book 2. And it is fanfic based off of a romance between Avengers, Bucky, and Steve Rogers, so Captain America. And that makes sense. It makes sense. So I don't really know anything about the Avengers, but it's so interesting to me that people, like these authors with ideas, are like, oh, I'll take these little characters, and what if they were gay together, and what if they played ice hockey, and then you have an entire freaking universe. And I love it. So I don't know that, like I know that it started with that book. So I don't know if then she just like built off of that and created Ilya Rozanov, which, how do you create a character like Ilya Rozanov? It's just amazing. Or if they're based off of more like hockey players or like more characters. I have heard that they are loosely based off of 2 great hockey players. Gun to my head, I could not come up with names. So sorry, I don't know really anything about hockey, but it's interesting. Okay, here's one I did not know. So fun. Andy Weir, who is very popular right now because of a little thing called Project Hail Mary. Hey, yo, mates. Are you gonna come cuddle with me? You're gonna just girl. You could just meatball. Oh my gosh. She's so cute. You make so much noise. So fun to know, Andy Weir, the writer of Project Hail Mary, little movie, have you heard of it? Artemis, The Martian, he started writing fanfic about Ready Player One, which, you're so sad. Just come sit by me. Just come sit. If you have not read Ready Player One, so good. And you don't have to like be a gamer or like love science fiction. That is a really amazing, well-written book. It's very like competition. It's kind of like a heist mystery. It's a little bit like Inheritance-y. Sorry, I have a Mabel hair. It's a little like Inheritance-y because he's going to like win something if he wins this competition. So Ready Player One, so good. Andy Weir started writing fanfic about Ready Player One and then was embraced by the author. Like the author let him write like a different chapter or something, like in his traditionally published book. So Ready Player One had like an edition that had Andy Weir fanfic in it, which is so cool because I don't know that that's happening in a lot of places because like it is their like intellectual property, and I get that that's your baby and like it hurts that somebody else is like taking it and going somewhere else. But how cool that like if you appreciate it, you highlight it, because then Andy Weir gets traditionally published. But first he starts by serializing The Martian. So The Martian, also a movie with Matt Damon. That one I have a hard time watching. I do. I don't love people being alone in space. It makes me very claustrophobic. So yeah, The Martian, also a movie, very good. So he must have released like chapters at a time and then traditionally published it. So I did not know that. I didn't know any of that backstory, and I think it's so cool. And I hope he keeps writing books, because I don't think I've read Artemis, but 2 out of 3 is good. And they've both been made into movies. Like, one of my favorite authors, I did not know this was fanfic. I just spit all over the camera. Sorry. Cinder, The Lunar Chronicles, is a Sailor Moon fanfic, just set in an alternate universe. Do I know who Sailor Moon is? Nope. I mean, like, I know that I think it's anime, and that's all I know. But this series is so good. This is like one of my favorite series because they are fairy tale retellings. So in Cinder, Cinderella is a cyborg, and cyborgs are considered like evil. So she's like a second, third class citizen. She's like always trying to hide her identity. Or is she a secret princess that suffered an accident and was made into a cyborg? Oh my goodness, this book is so good. And the rest of the Lunar Chronicles is Scarlet, which is Red Riding Hood. Cress is Rapunzel. And Winter, which is Snow White. So they're so good. And then Marissa Meyer goes on to continue writing fairy tale retellings. Some of my favorite books. So there's a 2-parter that's Rumpelstiltskin, which is Gilded and Cursed. And then we have Heartless, which is the story of the Queen of Hearts. We have The House Sapphire, I do not know how to say it, which is the Bluebeard retelling. So yes, I am set for all Marissa Meyer retellings for the future. But you should read this. And then I don't know of a specific fanfic, but I'm sure she wrote some, because Naomi Novik, another one of my favorite like fantasy writers, apparently helped to start AO3. So I don't know of any specific, like, I don't know of what her books are based on necessarily, like if these are fanfic or ideas from fanfic. Like, I know that I think she wrote on like Harry Potter fanfic, so that actually makes sense with a Deadly Education series, so it's a magic school, but I don't know specifically what fanfic she wrote that I have examples of. So I don't know if she just was heavily involved and then wrote traditionally, or if one of these started as fanfic. So Deadly Education is a 3-part series on a magic school, and like a very dark magic school. So, which honestly, so is Harry Potter, right? They never gave Harry enough information and just like fed him to the wolves. So kind of similar, but like the school's trying to kill the kids too. Pretty good. It's pretty good. And then we have Spinning Silver, which is, it's kind of like a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. Uprooted, which I don't know what fairy tale it's based on, but so good. And then she has like she's got like a dragon series that I could not get into. They are pretty, I think those are like Master and Commander kind of base. They're pretty dry for me. Yeah, I'm waiting for the next thing that she puts out, because I do really love her fantasy and I love a fairy tale retelling. And now we get to the reason for this video, and that is the heavily anticipated release of the Amazon Prime movie, The Love Hypothesis, which is by Allie Hazelwood. Allie Hazelwood, who wrote extensively through fanfic. And they were STEM-based because she was in science. And this book is a Kylo Ren Rey fanfic, which is even sillier now when you think about the fact that Daisy Ridley, who was Rey, her husband, is playing this character in the movie. Her real life husband. And perfectly embodies it. I am so excited for this movie. This is one of my all-time favorite books. Like, reading this book changed my brain chemistry. It is perfection. I don't know that I've really read a romance that scratched that itch like this since then. There are good romances. I've had some really good ones. I mean, this one's pretty good. Do I like Kylo Ren and Rey? Maybe. Maybe I do. But this one, I feel like, was the first of this genre that I read that was like, yes, this is everything I've ever wanted. And now to have... I'm sorry, my nose is just so bad. But now to have this movie coming out, and it's coming out in August, I think. September? Sometime soon. I think it's August. It's in my calendar. And I'm so excited because I feel like they cast it correctly, and they're like, it feels like they're going to do it justice. Like, I think they're trying to stay as close to it as possible. Oh, man. I love it. I love it so much. So, super interesting to know that these books started as fanfic. And like, well, a good way to get started as an author. And then I feel like that's why like music has changed as well, right? Like you can go to a producer and you can try to sell your music and go to all these open mic nights, or you get on YouTube and you start filming yourself. Like that feels like what AO3 and writing fanfic has done for authors, because these people are writing their books not traditionally and then they're getting published. I think, so I know that Spark of the Everflame, I don't know if that is a fanfic or if it was just published, like self-published, and now is getting traditionally published. So like, I'm not sure if that one started as a fanfic, but if it did, I'd love to know more about it. It wasn't on any of the internet research that I did, so unsure. So those are what I know of the books that started as fanfic. And I thought it was super fun. And I'll see you in August for my July reviews.